Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides, and as you can see behind me, this is going to be one special kind of review. What do we have going on here? We are going to compare two of the newest hot hatches against one another. So I have the 2024 Acura Integra Type S and also a 2023 Toyota GR Corolla Circuit Edition. But before we get into these two hot hatches, let's talk about what's going on here. It's interesting because as we are approaching this world where maybe all that will be available brand new will be electric vehicles, it seems some of those brands that we hold near and dear to our hearts, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Hyundai, are bringing these performance compact vehicles as we are approaching that electrification stage. And I really can't remember in my mind such a part of automotive history where we have these vehicles that range from basically $30,000 MSRP up to about $52,000 MSRP, where you're getting a lot of compact sport performance. Now, a lot of people have already talked about, and we even did it here on Rady's Rides, and if you haven't seen that review of me driving in my FL5 Type R, comparing it to the GR Corolla, what I wanted to do is I wanted to go one step further. So we're going to compare this Type S, when you look at the price, when you look at the performance, when you look at what you're getting, compared to this GR Corolla Circuit Edition. So let's go ahead. We got two iconic Japanese nameplates. Let's see which is the better performance hot hatch. Are you going Integra Type S or are you going GR Corolla Circuit Edition? Let's go ahead and dive in. Right off the bat, the new Integra Type S has been all about its aggressive style. At the front, you're getting an additional 3 inches of width. Of course, you're gonna get full LED lighting and a ton of functionality from the corner vents, and of course, the increased flow capacity of the main grille area. You got your Type S badge. And then of course, as I kind of swivel, you have the Integra name stamped on there going back to 1986. Very aggressive, very classy. Now, as we rise up, you do get a functional heat extractor. And what I like about it is how it's embedded into the hood. To drag that hot air out, you get a little bit of a bulge going on. Nice to have in a performance car. And you have that platinum white metallic paint that sparkles like a diamond. Now, comparing this to what's at the front of the business on the GR Corolla, what do we got going on? You also have full LED lighting. The one thing about the GR Corolla is some of the vents are fake, especially on the corner there. But something that you're not getting on the Type S is we have LED fog lamps. You're gonna get that functional cooling for the brakes, for the main intercooler area, just like on the Type S. And then as I kind of scooch out of the way, instead of, some other kind of badging, you have your Gazoo Racing. So we have Type S for the performance brand from Acura, and we have GR, the performance brand from Toyota. They even put GR on the intercooler. And that's what's cool, no pun intended, about these two hot hatches is that both of them are turbocharged intercooled engines. But wait until we talk about some of the differences. Now, of course, the front of the vehicle on the GR Corolla, I feel, looks a little bit more aggressive. Whereas, yes, the front of the Type S is aggressive, but it has a classier approach to it. As we rise up on the Circuit Edition, you get a unique hood. Nice big bulge, functional heat extractors. The problem is that they're just stuck on top of the hood. They're not embedded like on the Type S. Now, what we're gonna do is I wanna show you around the Integra Type S, and then we're gonna do the GR Corolla talking about what they have to offer. So as we swing around, you have those massive fender flares, much wider vehicle than the GR Corolla. What do we got working with on our wheels? You have these 19-inch shark gray wheels. What Acura does is they take about 32 different species of sharks, look at the skin of the shark, and then they design the color of the wheel. You do have Brembo calipers up front with the Acura badge. We got 2-piece rotors, limited slip diff, and of course, special adaptive suspension all four corners. Now, as we continue down the side, you do get a side badge, Type S, From the side, you're getting a little bit longer vehicle. So not only is it wider than the GR Corolla, it's a longer vehicle. And to be fair, it's technically a sportback, not a traditional hatchback. So you have that sportback design, nice and sleek. We have our rear fender flare. The one zonk I have is we have our standard floating calipers that are just painted red. These are not Brembos. But the great news is you have Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, and we're looking at 265 in the width. Pretty beefy tire on a front-wheel drive vehicle. This is not all-wheel drive, this is front-wheel drive. And with those Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss, you're gonna get some nice stick and reliability. And then when you spin around the back, we do have the optional carbon fiber spoiler. Nice touch on that rear Sportback. Love the way they do the rear LED lighting. And then of course, to finish it off, we have a triple exhaust. Nice large round openings. Not a slash cut, just a straight cut. And they did a hell of a job on the rear diffuser area, but you can see the width at the back end. Now, we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna come back around the Integra Type S, and we're gonna focus on this GR Corolla and see all the special touches that this vehicle has. So as we kind of swing around, you'll notice the flared fender integrated up front. I think Acura did a better job with the fender flares up front, but these are still looking great. On the sides, what do we got going on? Instead of a 19-inch wheel, you have an 18-inch wheel. So these are 235, a narrower tire, 40 ZR18s. You do have the Brembo calipers with the GR badging, just like on the Integra Type S, and you do have two-piece rotors that are also slotted. So something to think about, a little bit better brake cooling with those slotted rotors, but they are two-piece. This has an all-wheel drive system, limited slip diff up front, and limited slip diff out back. The one thing I like that this has that the Type S doesn't have is this functional fender vent. You're gonna get your side badge, GR badge, and then instead of having a carbon fiber spoiler, this has a carbon fiber roof. So functional in the sense that it shaves weight, and boy, does that forged carbon fiber look fantastic with our supersonic red. You can see the GR4 badge down below. That's letting you know we have the all-wheel drive. And then they did the same thing like on the Type S. You have a stuck-on piece of the fender flare on the door, and then it flows into the rear fender. Now, the good news about the GR Corolla is that this is all one piece, this portion. That's stuck on, this is the actual fender, and then you can see how it comes into the wider rear bumper area. And then when we get to the back, which I have my towel here, I'll wipe my sweat off my face, get that out of here. I'm actually gonna have Steven kind of swing around, and we're gonna do it from this side. So when you look at the back of the vehicle, you do have the Circuit Edition does have the Rally-esque raised spoiler, gloss black. Would have been nice if that was carbon fiber. You got your GR Corolla badge. Of course, we have our LED lighting, nicely done. And then just like the Type S, we have a triple exhaust, just a little different interpretation. Oval with a slash cut. You have an oval with a straight cut, and then another round with a slash cut. So nice to see a little bit of a difference between the two. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hoods of both of these and see where the difference lies when it comes to horsepower in our two hot hatches. All right, guys, we got the hoods popped on both of these. Let's start with the Integra Type S. Underneath that hood is gonna be that 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine mated to a 6-speed manual transmission only. What does that mean? That means 320 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60, if you know how to dance on your twinkle toes, in about 5 seconds. We have the limited slip diff, quarter mile in 13.6 at 105 miles per hour, and the vehicle weighs 3,212 pounds, top speed 167 miles per hour, MPGs 21 in the city, 28 on the highway. Now on the GR Corolla, we have something a little different. Still a tasteful engine cover, just like the Type S, but what's underneath it is quite different. We have a 1.6-liter turbocharged inline 3 that produces 300 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. So guess what? The Type S produces more horsepower, produces more torque. The GR Corolla is a 6-speed manual transmission only, but the big difference is the all-wheel drive, and that's where you're gonna find the grip. Because with the all-wheel drive, you could do a 50-50 split, 60-40, 60% up front, 40% out back, or a 30-70, 30% up front, 70% out back. 0 to 60, if you know how to dance, like the best of them, 0 to 60, 4.8 seconds. Quarter mile, 13.2 seconds at 105 miles per hour. Top speed, the sad news, it's governed to 143 miles per hour. MPGs, 21 in the city, 28 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 3,269 pounds, and that's with the all-wheel drive. So interesting to see that 0 to 60, GR Corolla is faster. Quarter mile, GR Corolla is faster. Top speed, that's when you're gonna yank the GR Corolla with this Integra Type S, but still very close, even though this has all-wheel drive and this one is front-wheel drive. But let's go ahead, let's fire both of these up and hear what they sound like. All right, guys, we are starting off inside the 2024 Integra Type S. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, obviously in this comparison, price is going to play a big part. How much is this Integra Type S? MSRP costs $52,000. Let's see if it brings enough to warrant the extra cost. To the door panels. I do love the two-tone style. Very, very tasteful. Acura has awesome materials. You can feel the luxury side of things. You got the ELS Studio 3D premium sound system with the aluminum speaker grill trim. Door pocket, decent size. Maybe an Arby's beef and cheddar, some extra packets of horsey sauce, and a Mr. Pibb to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, the two-tone continues. I love the way this isn't gloss black. But as you slide on in, you're getting an interesting infotainment system. Now, both of the cars have the floating iPad style. The interesting thing is that this is a 9-inch. So you have a 9-inch system, no native navigation. So you got to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto with your Google Maps or Apple Maps. And as you can see, it's black and white for the most part. Now, the cool thing is when you go into your different modes, which you have Sport Plus, you have Sport, Comfort, and then of course you have Individual, which you could tune each of the things separately. That's all full color. So that's a nice touch. Sliding on down, we have 3 stages of heated seats. You got your dual climate control, which is great. USB-C, USB-A, 12-volt wireless charging. One of the best transmissions in the industry. Love the way it's got the perforated leather, the nice red on your gear to let you know the map out of the gears. And you got that 6-speed, short throw, really crisp transmission with the Type S name stamped in this aluminum style trim. My big zonk is the gloss black. Not digging the gloss black. Soft material on the armrest, and then the seats. You have the Type S name, some microfiber suede material, a little bit better bolstering than your standard Integra, but not much. Manual seats for the passenger, which is the biggest zonk. I have full 12-way electric power seats and no available sunroof. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel and the instrumentation of this Integra Type S. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do get a nice aluminum Type S sill plate, very classy. We got the triple pedals, and Acura does a great pedal box. Aluminum brake pedal, throttle, perfect for heel-toe downshifting. Aluminum clutch pedal. I just wish they would give us an aluminum dead pedal. So that is a zonk. You got your seat controls, 12-way adjustable. I have plenty of room in here. I'm 6 feet tall. I feel fantastic. Steering wheel is like perfection. The perforated leather, the smooth leather up top. We got the Type S badge. flat black on all the switchgear. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have that 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster. In Sport Plus mode, it's got the yellow needles, as you can see there on the tachometer, that let you feel like you're back in a 1997 Type R Integra. And then as we back out, we do have a head-up display. Very nice extra touch, but let's get in the back seat because I want to show you that GR Corolla. All right, guys, back seat time. And one thing they definitely bring in this Integra Type S is room. You're gonna love the amount of room that's not only up front, but especially in the back seat, not even close to the headliner. You have the leather all the way around, no pocket behind the driver. The biggest zonk is right here. This is like a triple zonk, a zonk grand slam. No AC vents, no 12 volt, no USB. That's a zonk triple threat. I do have a nice large pocket here to look at a Radio Shack catalog and maybe get some ports to build into the back of this area. But seats are great. They take out the middle seat like they do on the Type R and just give you these two cup holders. Another thing is, look at the seats. They're all red. The seats up front are not all red. Why did they not give us the Alcantara material back here? That is a little weird in a luxury vehicle. But let's get into the cargo area. Well, actually, let's pause. I want to get in that GR Corolla, show you the interior, and then we'll do the cargo areas side by side. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we are inside this 2023 GR Corolla Circuit Edition. Big thanks to Robert letting us borrow his vehicle again. If you haven't seen the individual review of this one, I'll leave it at the end of this particular video. Now, I know you're saying, well, Joe, Integra Type S, I liked it, 52 grand. I guess I'm okay with the price. How much is this Circuit Edition? Very good question. MSRP is $44,000. Now, before you just pull the trigger on the price, let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. A much simpler door panel than the Integra Type S, but I do like the way it's all soft touch material. I also like that red contrast stitching. The one thing I don't like is all that gloss black. Definitely a double zonk on the pull handle and around the switchgear. Door pocket is about the same size, believe it or not. So you could get a Big Mac and a fry and a nice Mountain Dew to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, you can tell the difference in the materials. Not that this is bad, it's just the design is not as cohesive. You got this black stitching rather than red. This has a JBL sound system rather than the ELS Studio 3D sound system. And then you slide on in, you do have an inch smaller infotainment system. So this is an 8-inch compared to the 9-inch that's in the Integra Type S. I do like the way this has native navigation, and this Toyota multimedia system is probably one of the best, where you can have different driver profiles and all that stuff. You got your AC vents, no dual climate like on the Type S. This is just your standard AC controls. You do have 2 stages of heated seats compared to 3 stages in the Type S. Wireless charging. You got your mode selector switch. A little bit of gloss black, but I like the red stitching. Love the shift knob with the Marizo name. That's the nickname for Akio Toyota when he's racing. Transmission is good. I'll be honest, as of right now, sitting in the car, it's not as short throws and crisp engagement as the Type S, but we'll talk more about that when we drive. This you don't get on the Type S. This is the control of the all-wheel drive system, the GR4 all-wheel drive system. 2 cup holders is all you get for your junk, but you do have a mechanical e-brake rather than an electric one like on the Type S. No center console. So the Type S has a center console. This one does not. The seats, though, are the bomb. I love the way they're very Recaro race car-esque. Embroidery, microfiber suede material. They are manual adjustments for the passenger and for the driver as well. Whereas for the Integra Type S, remember, you do have the electric seats for the driver. But why don't you come over here so we can compare steering wheels with this GR Corolla. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. No nice sill plate. You just have plastic on the sill. You do get an aluminum awesome pedal box with your aluminum clutch, brake pedal, and throttle. No actual aluminum dead pedal. And there's none underneath there. It's just plastic. But you do have the GR Corolla all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. Manual seat controls, but the seats have better bolstering, more bolstering than the Integra Type S. I love the way they feel. Steering wheel, The wheel on the Integra Type S is sexier, but this is still looking good. You got the red stitching, the GR Corolla badge, flat black on all the switchgear. It's also a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and it's also a heated steering wheel as well. And then you have your digital gauge cluster with your tach across the top there, your G meter, and then you have your different modes that you could go into, including a custom mode, just like the Integra Type S. One thing you don't have is a head-up display. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be able to keep their head and their wits with them sitting in there in the back. All right, guys, back seat time. And this is what I was talking about. It's like your passengers get to keep their heads just by the hair of their chinny chin chin. If this roof line was any lower, they would have to decapitate themselves to sit back here. And that's the challenge with the GR Corolla compared to the Integra Type S. It's physically a smaller car. So obviously on the interior, it's gonna be smaller. But the great news is both the behind the driver and the passenger, you have these nice large pockets. You could go get a nice cookie cake and slide that in. And what's crazy is in this GR Corolla that's less money, you do get a 12-volt and a USB-C for the rear seat passengers. The seats are comfy, just not as comfy as the Type S. You sit a little bit more upright in this vehicle, but you do have the same seat material as the front seat as we do in the back. So that's a nice touch. But let's get into the cargo area because I want to go on throttle in these cars. All right, guys, we got the hatches open. Looking at the back area of this Integra Type S, you think you're looking at an SUV because guess what? We have a massive amount of volume. You're looking at 24 cubic feet of space. I love how low the cargo floor is. Of course, you have the 60/40 split, and we have the ELS Studio 3D sound system subwoofer in the back. Now, coming on over to the GR Corolla, the GR Corolla is going to get its butt whooped. Even though we have the trunk monkey in here, which gives it a couple extra bonus points. That's Robert's protector of his GR Corolla. The space is very limited. You're looking at 18 cubic feet of space. The seats do fold down and do the 60/40 split, but you're still not getting as much room as that Integra Type S. But you know what? It's now come that time. Bye-bye, monkey. Better hold on because it's time to go on throttle. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go hit the twisty. All right, guys, we're gonna start off this comparison with the Type S compared to the GR Corolla. I'm gonna start off from a roll, second gear. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice. It's just crazy how fast this car accelerates. It's really deceiving. And then look at this. Jeez. Wow. Remember, we're in a front-wheel drive vehicle and it is hooked up. Love this left-right transition. The sound, it's good. Is it perfect? No, but they definitely did a good job with getting the sound out of the exhaust, the pops, the bangs and stuff. The artificial sound, I've heard worse, I've heard better, but it does really help create the whole experience very, very well. All right, guys, once again, first gear, on throttle, here we go. I tell you, it's incredible how for a front-wheel drive car, you get good traction off the line there. But you really feel good sitting behind the wheel. Seats, I wish they had a little bit more bolstering, but remember the whole point of this car compared to a Type R is to be a little bit more streetable when it comes to the overall bolstering in the seats and just the aggressive tuning on the suspension. The chassis, I think we're gonna find is a little bit stiffer in this car compared to the GR Corolla. Brakes are good, but I'm curious to see that with the Brembos all four corners on the GR Corolla and them being slotted, is there gonna be a different feel and performance in the brakes? But when it comes to steering, it's wins hands down. Interior, the appointments are nice. Much nicer than in the GR Corolla, but like I said, there's an $8,000 difference between this and the GR Corolla. All right, guys, dropping into second gear. I tell you, this gearbox is absolutely a hot knife through butter. One of the best ever produced for any production car. Visibility is great out the front, out the back. And of course, if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Little bit of rev hang, that's okay though. But she pulls all the way to red line. On the brakes, look at this, down third gear. Nice, I'm telling you, the feedback is so unbelievable in this car. And the fact that you could just throw it into this left bend, into this right bend. Not as bouncy as the Type R. Wow. And then you get a couple pops and bangs out the back. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, guys, one more time. Here we go. On throttle. I tell you, the car just talks to you. It talks to you in all the right ways. Woo-hoo-hoo! Nice. Love it. Yeah! That was a way to send it off. As we've been pushing harder and harder and harder, a little bit of front end push, but still, once she just slid a little bit, she hooked up at the back and we were good to go. But let's go ahead, trade keys, and get into that GR Corolla and compare it to this Integra Type S. Let's do it. All right, guys, we are now in the GR Corolla. I have it set up 30-70 split. I like that setup on the road. Can't do it in the Type S. If you're ready, I'm ready. We're in sport mode. On throttle, here we go. Love the way the tach changes color when you get close to that red line. And the sound of that triple is awesome. Look at this, here we go. Throws are a little longer in the GR Corolla compared to the Type S. But I am liking the sounds. Really, really tossable. And the brakes feel great. It's one of those things, it's so, like, so close between the two when it comes to the overall driving experience. The one thing I would like to see with the GR Corolla is just a little bit more bite at each of the four corners. And it's kind of crazy to say that because it has all-wheel drive, but this is a perfect example of why many people out there say, oh, the Integra Type S needs to be all-wheel drive. No, it doesn't. You saw how we handled through the twisty bits. It's so hooked up, and it revs, the engine revs so quickly, quicker than this GR Corolla. Not that the GR Corolla is a slow revving engine by any means, but it just has that little something extra. I do like the seats better in this GR Corolla compared to the Type S. The dash, it really has more of a sportier feel compared to what you get in the Integra Type S. The Integra Type S, the dash pretty much looks like a standard Integra. I would like a little bit more specialness there. I guess it comes down to, at the end of the day, you know, room. And if you're living up north, all-wheel drive might be the only answer for you. So that's another thing to think about. But both of them have very good feedback to the steering wheel. I think what you're gonna find is that there's just something special that Honda and Acura does to their steering setups to where it just allows you to feel every bit of information coming off the front of the car. But I do like the fact the way in this car you do have the ability to differentiate that how the torque is distributed to the all-wheel drive system. And I mean, it's just one of those things that it's going to come down, I think, a lot of it to personal preference. Yes, you're saving almost $10,000 $8,000 going the GR Corolla route. So that's another thing to think about, is you have an $8,000 difference. But with that being said, that's the big question I have for you, is does the $8,000 difference equate to the nicer interior, to the exterior features, things like that? All right, guys, we're gonna see once again how this GR Corolla holds up against the Integra Type S second gear on throttle. Here we go. Brakes feel phenomenal in this car, they really do. Nice, look at that. Yeah, you're having to just shift a little bit more in this car, but boy, does she like to grip. The great news is that they got the steering feedback down really, really well. It's like you could really feel what's going on so that you could position this car exactly on the road wherever you want it, whether you're going into entry, mid-corner, or exit. And I do really appreciate that work that the engineers have done with this vehicle. From a dead stop, I think what you're gonna find is I really like the clutch pedal in this GR Corolla. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go, yeah! Throws are a little long though, but the all-wheel drive grip. Another thing is the gearing. You shift a lot more in the GR Corolla on this road. Here we go. Little bit of front end push, but then the back comes around. So I'm going up to fourth, down to third. And just a little understeer there in that tight left-hander. So very, very interesting how you get a little bit of push in this car coming out of those tight exits. And that is something that can happen with all-wheel drive vehicles, even though we do have 70% of the power going to the rear. But the great news is the rear quickly reacts to that and squares off the corner for you. So it's not like you're just plowing and going off into the grass. It's like a little bit of push, and then the back comes around, and then you're good to go. But why don't we go ahead? We've done some twisties in both cars. We need to get back and try to see if we could get an answer from you in the comment section and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, this has been one of those days where it's awesome to be a car enthusiast and be surrounded with these two cars. Definitely want to thank Robert for letting us borrow his GR Corolla once again. Definitely want to thank Acura for letting us borrow this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. With your money, are you going GR Corolla Circuit Edition, or are you gonna go Integra Type S? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rides family. Of course, we need to give it up to Stephen Flood for photography. He made his choice. He had the opportunity to get behind the wheel of a Subaru WRX around a 2010, but you know what? He stuck it out, and he's sticking with his Honda Civic Type R. It just makes the right noises and the right feeling for Steven. So show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Steven, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.